Okay, we are going to be doing some combining like terms. And let me show you at first what like terms look like. If I have 3, that's a term right there. A like term with 3, because it's a number, is another number. Negative 2 would be a like term with 3. 5.25 would be a like term with 3. Negative 1/2 would be a like term with 3. However, if I turn this into a 3x, negative 2 is not a like term with 3x. This one has an x with it, this one does not. They are not like terms. 5.25 is not a like term with 3x. Negative 1/2 is not a like term with 3x. 3x can only be a like term with something else that has an x to the first power in it. Negative 1/2 x and 3x are like terms. So now that I have reminded you what like terms look like, let me introduce you to another word, coefficient. I'll throw that word out at you, and I want to remind you what it was. The coefficient is the number in front of a variable. So in front of the letter x, the coefficient of this is 10. The coefficient of 5b is 5. The coefficient of negative 1/2 k is negative 1/2. The coefficient of x, just by itself here, take a guess what that one is. The coefficient of that is 1, because there's an implied 1 out there. Try this one. What's the coefficient of negative x? The coefficient of that is negative 1. So the coefficient is the number out in front of the variable or the letter. So now that I reminded you about the word coefficient, so I'm not throwing that one out at you, let's go over to this problem right here. 10x subtract x. The question is, are these like terms? Yes, they are like terms. Subtract x is the same as 1x. I'm going to put a 1 in front of there. This has an x in it, this has an x in it, and they are both x to the first power. Let me throw something out here for you, and I'll come back to it. We're not dealing with ones this time, but if I had a problem that was x squared and an x, these two things right here, they are not like terms. Not like terms. Okay? Can't have x with different powers. So over here, back to our problem again, 10x subtract x. The way that I think about this, I think that I have 10 x's, and I'm subtracting 1x. And that means I would be left with 9 x's. Alternately, I could have done what I've told you before and turned this into an addition problem. 10x subtract 1x could be rewritten as 10x add negative 1x. And then I can just add the coefficients because they're like terms. 10 add negative 1 and get 9x. Let's take a look at this one right here. 1 add 3b, subtract b, add 9. Okay, I've got two different sets of like terms here. The 1 is a like term with the 9, and the 3b is a like term with the negative b. So let's move things around and use our commutative property, which allows us to commute things around and rewrite this problem. So I'm going to rewrite this as 1 add 9. Okay, so I just commuted the add 9 over here. And then I'm going to rewrite my problem, add 3b. And then, you see this right here? This is a subtraction problem, but I'm going to change it to an addition problem. Instead of subtract b, I'm going to write add a negative b. Okay? Now I can combine like terms. 1 plus 9 can be rewritten as 10. And 3b add a negative b. What's the coefficient in front of this one? It's a 1. 3b add a negative b, so I just add the coefficients, 3 and negative 1, and I get 2b. There is my simplified expression. Okay, let's take a look at 4d minus 10d. Are these like terms? They are. We're going to change this into an addition problem and change it into 4d add negative 10d. They're like terms, and so I can just add their coefficients. 4 add negative 10, and it gives me a negative 6d. Down here at this one, 7k, I've got a like term with that, it's the 2k. And the negative 4, it has a like term right there with the negative 10. So let me use the commutative property and rewrite this. So I'm going to change it to 7k plus 2k. I'm just moving things around because there is a commutative property for addition that allows me to do that. First of all, let's be really careful with this right here. let's change this subtract 4 into add -4, and this subtract 10 into add -10, and that'll make it a lot nicer. So then I can have an add -4 and an add -10. These are like terms, I can combine them. 7k's plus 2k's. Again, you could think of it as just adding the coefficients, make 9k. And a -4 and a -10 can be added together to give me a -14. There's my answer. Of course, this could also be written like this, 9k minus 14. Both of those are purely very acceptable. Okay, let's do this last problem together. -2x, subtract 5x. I've got subtractions. Let's go through and make them an addition problem before we do anything. Instead of subtract 5x, I'm going to add a -5x. Instead of subtracting 4, I'm going to add a -4. I haven't changed anything. I just made my subtraction into addition, easier to deal with. Make my negative a little clearer there. These two are like terms. I can combine them. A -2x and a -5x, I can just add their coefficients and get a -7x. And then I still have this add -4 left over here. The question is, can I combine those two? The answer is no. We can't combine the two. They are not like terms. That expression will stay just like that. So be careful when you are doing this assignment that you are only combining like terms. We can't just combine everything willy-nilly. They have to be like.